D2L's Grades toolset features a powerful gradebook that stores, calculates, and displays student grades to you and your students. In this video, I show how to add grade items and categories to a simple points-based gradebook. These items correspond to assignments, quizzes, exams, or any other scored assessment you have within your course. While this video shows the process specifically for a points-based gradebook, you can see the other video in the series that shows how to add items and categories to a weighted gradebook. In another video, I discuss global settings and defaults which govern how the gradebook calculates and displays grades, and particularly how to adjust these in a new gradebook using the Setup Wizard. When it comes time to build the structure of a gradebook, this is done in the Manage Grades screen, reached via a link in the menu below the nav bar to the left of the Grades area. In D2L, the basic entry row in a gradebook is the grade item. Items can be grouped together into categories, which in a points-based gradebook is an organizational heading, but can also help manage the value of items within. This gradebook is new and empty, so no items or categories are present. It has only rows for the final calculated grade and an adjusted final grade, which is only useful if I set the gradebook to factor in a grade adjustment. When I begin to add items to the gradebook, D2L will add their point values to a total possible score for the class. Obviously, the total points possible goes up with each grade item. To add an item, I click the blue New button and choose Item. The most common item type is numeric. That's what I'll choose. After clicking that, I am taken to the Grade Item Editor, where I'll describe the most commonly used and useful features. Obviously, the grade item should have a name. Also helpful is a short name that keeps columns on the gradebook spreadsheet narrow and scrolling to a minimum. Here I have the option to put the item into an existing category or create a new category along with it, but in this case I'll let this be a standalone grade item outside of all categories. For maximum points, I indicate how many points I want the grade item to be worth. In this case, I'll say 40. If I have a rubric built within D2L's rubric engine, I can add it to this grade item so I can use it to grade, and my students see the rubric scores, and feedback in addition to their overall grade. For this grade item, D2L offers me the option to choose a different grade scheme and visibility settings than the defaults I set in global settings. So I can have certain grade items and, as we'll see in a minute, categories display differently than the rest. In this case, I'll leave this grade item obeying the global visibility settings for this gradebook. If I click Save and New, D2L creates this grade item and then offers me a new editor blank where I can create another grade item. Instead, I'll click Save and Close and go back to the Manage Grade screen. So I have one grade item worth 40 points. Since it's the only grade item, the total course grade possible right now is 40. Let's add some more grade items. I'd like to add writing assignment grade items, and I'll put them together under a category heading in the gradebook to manage their point values and so my students consider them as a type of assignment. I'll start by creating the category. I click the blue New button and choose Category. In the Category Editor screen, I add a name for the category. This will appear as a heading in the gradebook. Next, I can have the category help me efficiently manage the value of the items I'll put in it. If I leave this box under Distribution unchecked, the category leaves it to me to assign point values for every item. If I tell the category, by clicking the box, to distribute points across all items, I can then assign an identical value for each item in the category. In this case, I'll say 15 points per item. This is also helpful. Number of lowest non-bonus items to drop for each user. If I have 7 items in this category, I can tell my students that the lowest 2 scores will be dropped, so that at the end of the semester, only 5 of these assignments will count toward their final grade. This is a popular use of this feature, but there are other uses as well, so it's worth remembering. And again, like grade items, I can set visibility conditions for the entire category that deviate from course defaults. I'll click Save and Close, and D2L creates the category. Now it's time to create some items within it. To create a new grade item within the Writing Assignments category, again, I click the blue New button and choose Item. Numeric, and then I add a name to the item. This time I choose a category from the drop-down menu. If I hadn't created a category yet, I could click this link to the right to do so. In this case, I have. So I'll choose the category Writing Assignments. Now that I've chosen that category, D2L grays out the points value box and doesn't let me alter the number within it. This is because I told the category to manage the value of the items within the category for me. If I had not done that, I would have to supply a point value for this item and any other I added to the category. I'll click Save and Close, and D2L creates this item. Now we can see a few things here in the Manage Grade screen. Note that the category heading has no type name or points value to the right. The item just below it is slightly indented. That indent tells me that this item is within the category. Because I told it to, when I add other items to this category, the category will assign an identical point value, in this case 15 points, to each item. You can edit a grade item or category in two ways. The quickest is to check its box to the left, or even check multiple items and click Bulk Edit. This allows you to perform the most common changes to any item or category. Exceptions include visibility settings and how a category manages weight for items therein. For that, you must return to the individual item or category editor page. Click the drop-down menu caret next to the item and choose Edit Grade Item. This brings you back to the editor screen for that item or category. Be sure to click one of the Save buttons at the bottom of the screen if you make changes so that those changes stick. Now I have a complete point-based gradebook. If I go to Enter Grades, I can see that it has populated the spreadsheet with columns that are my grade items, under headings, which are categories. If I regularly add my students' grades to this gradebook, my students will at any time have a clear picture of how they're doing in this course.